second case. The first thing we did was to reframe the issues that we see concerning this case. Our case is about this lack of connection between the producers of energy and the users of the energy. The first one that we found was that there's this problem in the switch towards solar energy from the farmers. A lot of problems there, but one of them is this connotation that the land should be used for farming purposes rather than for putting these solar structures there, which makes complete sense. This is a great land for farming, so it should be used that way. Also that the investment, the initial investment is very large. There is an ROI, we were talking about 7 years, something like that, which makes sense, but it's also a lot of time. Also, in a general sense, is that young people are leaving, so there's migration out, and that there's no connection between the energy producers, specifically these parks that are being installed on the edge of the road, and the users of the electricity. Next one. So we see a potential to create a community of a network of producers. We also see opportunity to create a motivation in young people to stay here, not leave or leave, study, and then come back and do great things here, and also to build a connection between the ones that are producing and the ones that are using the energy. So our proposal has two timelines. The first one, we want to create a community. We want to create this community feeling between the people that are producing the energy and are producing and using. So for example, if your neighbor is producing the electricity that you're consuming, you know how he created it, you know it benefits him, and you know you're using it and also benefiting from that energy. So there's a full cycle there. We want to inspire farmers to produce their own energy and to use the energy of their neighbors. And in our long-term goal is to create an energy self-sufficient community, which means that every kilowatt of energy that you use, you produce yourselves. And we have this wonderful plan. The first thing we see that we need to do is, we simply call it branding, which is the idea of creating the community. We want to start this by creating an icon that could become the image of this community. We were thinking, for example, the use of the cow that all farmers relate to. That this could become, if you see this cow, you know is this region, you know you're talking about this region in particular. The way we see to tackle the problem of the lack of information is to sit with the farmers and ask them exactly what do you think are the problems with this migration to solar energy. For example, the investment, that there's a lot of investment at the beginning. Maybe once you find a couple of farmers that have doubts about that subject, you can bring someone that can explain this information. We also know that some people might not want to get involved in this, which is perfectly fine also. But it's about giving information to people that want information. Then, with that information, we want to apply for grants of the EU government, for example, or find investors to make the switch, to make the complete switch. And actually, the first part of the next process, you're already there, which is that some farms are already producing energy. The next part is that you have enough farms producing energy so that this community is self-sustainable in terms of energy. And the next part is that you're not only producing for this region, but you're producing other regions. And this can become a model community for other regions to adopt this model. And it goes back in a different project of infrastructure to use this surplus energy that you have. So what we want to create here is to create a model for other regions in the Netherlands and even the world to use. So this is a project. Thank you very much.